Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are so excited to have you here with us this fine Monday morning. Eve and I are both outside. I'm in Casey Cape. Eve is actually in Dieppe, New Brunswick. And it is a beautiful day, a
It is a
beautiful day.
beautiful
So
day.
I am Shelley
Yeah.
Butler,
I'm Yves Doucet.
and this is Mindset Monday.
What does that
I was
mean?
actually late this morning. My husband, the whole story was just, if you guys had just seen what happened in the last 5 minutes, I was just down the road, forgot completely where the time was. I went down there about 7:30 this morning and almost forgot Mindset Monday. My husband came to the rescue and made me a coffee, and here I am. Here I am.
You must be in holiday mode.
I
Or maybe
am.
you're like, it's because you just married your daughter. Yeah, like your daughter got married.
Did my daughter and I are now married.
Yeah. And
I didn't marry my daughter. Eve
well,
married my daughter.
well, I performed the ceremony. Like I don't like they were already married. Yeah. I don't think it's the only people that can marry people like other in it's either you have to get ordained or you have to be a lawyer, I think,
Or we
right?
had to send you to get a law degree. Yeah, so that was
Really?
that
I'll
wasn't
see it in
happening.
5 years.
Yeah, but it was beautiful. Yeah, pandemic hit last year, and unfortunately, Nicole never got to realize her dream of that wedding that she always wanted. So we had a small wedding. Unfortunately, her grandfather, my dad, was passing away, and we knew he would never make it another year. So we had a small ceremony so he could be there at their wedding last year. And this year we were able to realize the big celebration, or the celebration that she wanted. And, she got up yesterday and it was absolutely everything that she wanted. It was all her dreams came true. So, of course, mommy and daddy were absolutely thrilled. We put in a lot of work into these weddings, if you will, or a lot of mental strength, right?
Put a lot of stories into them,
So many
right?
stories.
Yeah, a lot of like it's got to be perfect, and people have to be perfect, and a lot of
Yes,
a lot of
yeah, yeah.
perfection goes into like the organization of our lives, and it kind of accumulates, like it kind of focuses on this wedding day sometimes, or on these events that we have. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's tiring. Like I was tired. And all I did was I don't know how long I spoke a bit, and maybe I talked for like 5 or 10 minutes maybe, but I was tired.
Yeah,
Yesterday I did nothing.
I didn't either. It was about a 15-minute speech you had given. You let us know to be present. Let us know that um as we often talk about, the past is gone, so we can't really do much about that. So the brain space should not be taken there, and the future doesn't exist yet. So all we have is the here and now. So if we could actually take away all of the thoughts about what dinner's going to look like, is the wine going to be enough, am I going to have enough beer, is there going to be enough of a dancing floor, oh gosh, is it going to rain, all of these things.
Now, is
So
it going to be too hot? And is there mosquitoes out there? Like so many stories, right?
so many
Yeah.
stories that we believe, and we put a lot of emphasis and power and energy into
Uh,
those stories. Over this last couple of years, I got to work really hard to be present, to be in the moment. I fall often, but I found I do remember the moments. I do
yeah.
remember quite a few of the beautiful things that happened. I remember a few people coming up to me, and your words really spoke to them. It wasn't a religious ceremony, but sometimes what happens is, if we can allow people, give them a second to actually get in the moment. So that's what Eve was
Mhm.
able to do, is talk to us about a few stories and get us actually in the moment. And people were saying, it's the first time I ever heard somebody speak at a wedding that got me into the moment, that I was there with the bride and groom, and I tried to stay there the whole night with the bride and groom. I
But
tried to be
did they?
present with my family. So
Wow.
I thought, Eve, what a beautiful message to give to people. There is no good, there is no bad. This is what it is.
It
We are,
is.
yeah, we just, she happened to have it in my backyard. That was her dream. Daddy and I promised her any hall that she would like to have, we would do that. But no, backyard. So my backyard actually is a little trampled up, but it really doesn't matter, right? The backyard will come back, and all of the things that we thought, all of the mishaps that we made up in our minds, none of them came true. And if they did, it wasn't nearly as bad. It just
Yeah.
was, we allowed it to just be. I know that the caterer forgot a couple things and he was super frazzled, and I was like, let's just figure it out. Let's just figure it out, because it's going to be beautiful. If you set the intention that it is going to be beautiful, you can always make it beautiful.
Yeah. And like, it reminds me of this story about, well, first of all, like, what's the quote? It says something, something about like of all the third terrible, I've had a terrible life, I've had a terrible life, most of which never happened. Something like that, right? So like, there's a lot of things that we think of that's going to happen in our lives that is tiring, right? We think of it like the worst that could happen, and it never happens, right? That's true for all of us. We all do that.
We all do it.
And that's it takes energy to think and to do, and to, like, I was tired, and I was thinking, why am I tired? Well, like, all day, and actually I started on Friday to think about, like, I was trying to put myself in Nikki and Glenn's like mind, and like, how are they and who are they, and so I was like, but basically that wasn't why I was tired. I was tired because I was trying to stop the other stories from coming up, like the meaning and significance of me giving a speech, the meaning and significance of all of this, right? Everything. Like, and trying to just focus on one thing. And that takes a lot of energy to focus on one thing, to get out of your stories. And yeah, and then giving yourself, yesterday, I just gave myself a day of rest and say, I'm going to just rest yesterday, and just without any like justification for it. I felt okay, right? Just saying, you know what? I'm just doing nothing today. Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay, right? Yeah.
And it is okay. Absolutely. I think so many of us feel that, we have to accomplish so much in the run of a day. I know when pandemic started, I always journaled, of course, my gratitudes and my workout and how I felt that day. But I always put a number of intentions for my day, right? Almost like my own to-do list, what I expected to get done. And when pandemic hit, I found that the intentions that I was setting out were not being realized. And I was disappointing myself every time I go back to my journal, because I did not realize any of those intentions, sometimes not even one. So what I decided to do is I would set one intention for the day. I would set one intention for the day, and I would, ensure that thing got done. So I felt like I had some type of accomplishment.
Now, so funny. I do the same thing. I just do one. I do one accomplishment, like one thing, and smaller than like the bigger project. It's just one thing. It's smaller. Yeah.
Absolutely. Much smaller.
And how do you feel?
Right?
How do you feel?
It changed everything. It changed the whole dynamic about what my expectations were, right? So I was disappointed in myself. Remember, nobody is giving me a to-do list that I was failing at. It was my own intentions. So we set ourselves up for that all the time, right? So brides getting their list, and if the purple little things didn't get in the bottom of the glass, is that going to ruin your day? So those are the things that I talked about my daughter. What are your intentions, and what is the outcome? I mean, the outcome is you're going to be married. They were married last year, so you have really nothing to lose, right?
No
We're going to be stood up at the altar.
Yeah, it's just being there.
It's just being there. So the energy I put into the day yesterday, I get up with the intention of only putting great energy out all day long. Nobody was going to remove that energy from this entire place. And, I talked to your wife about, I talked to Deanna about, she was like, no mosquito shell. What's the deal? That was Leonard's big thing. We looked online. How do we get rid of mosquitoes? Essential oils, lemon and peppermint, do it like excessively, right? For 3 days before the wedding. So here we are spraying our grass, right? 3 days. But honestly, I don't believe I sprayed, but the energy that I put out in that space while I was spraying, I think totally overruled everything. It was like, yeah, come on, mosquito. But it was the sheer energy. I think the sheer positivity that we put out in the space, there was nothing going to take away from or from that day, from Saturday, right? And I think that we all should think about that. I remember Marianne Williamson getting up on stage and saying, don't go anywhere unless you go with love. Take love to that meeting. And I really wasn't sure what that meant. And I understood when I started taking love to the meeting, it wasn't about me going in and kissing and hugging everybody.
No,
It wasn't,
no.
but it was about me being of acceptance. The energy that
Yeah.
I brought to that room wasn't negative. It wasn't anything. The meanings and the significance that I put behind, I want my agenda to be number one or first. It's truly about being present and listening to others. That's what bringing love into the room means. Don't spoil the room with your negative energy. I would prefer, Doviconians would prefer that you say, unfortunately, I'm not able to make it to that meeting today. I'm not perhaps in the right frame of mind. You don't even have to justify it. You can just say, I can't make it to that meeting today. Because if you know that you're in a bad space and you can't be open and honest with yourself, to be, with love in that meeting, then that's okay. You can walk away.
Just say it. Just say it. Like when you say that, okay, I'm in a bad mood right now, like just notice how it goes away. Yeah. It's a choice. Like you have a choice to be doomsday or to be happy. I got a text on Friday from a coach. He's a coach, a spiritual, religious coach. And he, like this, you won't believe this. And he said to me, I don't know if you've heard the news yet, but it's going to be bad. And I just want you to know that you're loved. And I'm thinking, who would send you something like this? Right?
Doomsday.
Like, what? Like, and this is a coach, right?
Really?
It's a coach. He's a professional coach. And he sends me this. And immediately I start saying all the stories and I start laughing. The stories that were coming up in my head. Is the sheriff coming? Like, it's like, who's like all the stuff, the mosquito.
Wow.
Right. And I just laughed at it. I said, you know what? Like I can choose. I'm not going to let anybody choose for me. I can choose my day.
Amen.
I can choose if I'm going to be happy and full of love, like Marianne Williamson would say, or I can choose to be in my stories, but it's a choice. And I said, you know what? Something may happen today. I don't know. Right. Yeah. And I have no control about what happens, whether or not the mosquitoes comes or not, or if I get bitten by a bee. I don't know. Like I have no control on the outside world. It's way too complicated, right? And I learned this like in business and investing a long time ago. I have no control over what's happening out there. What I have is control on my reaction. And Warren Buffett would say the same thing. If you can't control your reactions, don't go in investment. Don't go in business. Don't go. And you hear what I'm saying? Why? Because if you can't control your reactions and choose to be in love, like every single moment, you'll be brought down to nothing. Every time your stock goes down, every time something happens in your business, you don't get the sale. Every time a mosquito comes up because you can't control the mosquito. Yeah. Like, like if you would have hung your stocking on that kind of philosophy of, if the mosquitoes come up, oh my God, it's going to ruin my day.
Wreck the day.
Right? That would have been a choice that you've made. You just don't realize that you were making a choice. So I was with you all day on Saturday. Well, most of the day on Saturday.
Yes. And
you were just like totally blissful. It was beautiful to see, not panicking or not like rushing, totally. Nope. And so was Nikki, by the way. I was really impressed with her. Bride. Yes. She was like usually the brides are a little more anxious, right?
She was pretty bridezilla in the morning. It was pretty nasty. We went away from everybody, and her and I did some mountain poses, and we did some forward folds, and we did some 6-6 breathing because she can't do 4-4-8, but she so we were able to get her to a space because as the questions were coming, she was getting a little more bridezilla, and I knew that that would be something that she would regret. So again, we went back to her tensions, we went back to the outcome. And like Yves said, that's the key word, it's choice. So if you get up in the morning and you stub your toe and it's raining out and you get into that, honestly, by the time you finish brushing your teeth, you've already had a choice to choose again, to choose your mood again, right? So you can choose to be in a pissed off mood all day because you stubbed your toe, right? Those are our choices. Or we can realize maybe we have to slow down a little bit and just take a breath. So always question your intentions, and always question what you feel the outcome, what you in your mind, what you think the outcome is going to be. And I bet you 9 times out of 10, you can't answer the outcome question. You can maybe answer your intention question, but you can't really answer that outcome. What is the outcome? What does the outcome look like? So that's living in your future. And that's where anxiety breeds, actually.
It's kind of interesting. Like, we're so proud of ourselves when the outcome matches what we predicted.
Yeah.
But then you have to wonder, did I make that happen?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're prone to say, I told you so, like if you're that kind of person that says, I told you so, I think a question you have to ask yourself is like, did I actually construct that whole event in my life?
Did I manifest that?
Did I manifest that? Yeah. So like my friend, the coach, who was trying to manifest like something, like people come to you, like, the other thing I told myself about that particular like message is like, whatever you say to me, right, I'm not hearing. I'll choose to hear what I want to hear. So if I want to hear bad things, that's what I'll hear. If I want to hear good things, that's what I want to hear. So I had to see him with love. So he was manifesting something that he was going through in his life. That's what I saw it. Like he was going to have something, like he was thinking negatively because he was manifesting, I told you so. Something's bad's going to happen. Yeah. And if he tells that to enough people, somebody's going to come back and said, yes, you were so right. Like imagine, like
you surround yourself by that herd, right? You went the whole, you're in the hole by yourself. You got to have people there with you to keep you company.
It's kind of interesting. Like if that guy said that to 100 people, right? All his coaches, all his people he's talking to, all his friends on Facebook, he sends a message. He's going to be right? At least once. And then you'll say, I knew it. I have this way, like I can predict the future. I knew the mosquitoes were, the mosquitoes were going to come out. Like if you start thinking about that, you're going to be right at least once. You're going to say, I knew something bad was going to happen.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you're looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody always has a story, right? About, I knew that was going to go bad. Wedding can't go through. There's always going to be something. There wasn't one thing. There wasn't one thing.
Yeah. One thing.
Because we had no ties to the outcome, no attachment to the outcome. It was going to be what it was. And you know what? We decided a long time ago that it was we decided in 2020, August 2nd, when she was supposed to get married, or August 1st, it was already going to be beautiful. So imagine manifesting for a whole year how beautiful it was going to be.
Yeah. So it's like,
that's what happened. It was beautiful.
So we're talking about mental fatigue, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to get away from mental fatigue, like, look for beautiful things. It's that simple, right? If what tires us is like fighting the negativity of what's out there. That's what tires us. That's what takes a lot of energy. Yeah.
There's so much energy that goes into hate, being against the man and all that. There's so much energy that goes into the hate, right? Yes. So the past experiences that you keep taking with you, because they're never good ones, they're always the terrible ones that, you carry along with you. And your unsureness, your uncertainties about the future, those are the things that cause us anxiety. Being in the moment, being right here and being still and in the quiet and the beauty of what is happening around us. This isn't anxious.
No.
There's nothing, now a lot of people would say, I'm not doing live. Oh my God. I mean, that happens, but you know, but we're over that.
Well, at the beginning when we were doing it, there was a bit of anxiety. Like I remember that when I started, anyways, I was
For
like, I
sure.
had, but now like I'm not even thinking about it.
We
I'm
don't
just
even
happy to
think,
see
yeah, we're
you.
just having a
I'm just happy
conversation.
to see you. So,
Yeah. We do this anyway
yeah.
in person, right? So yeah, we don't think about it. But you know, the things that Eve and I have learned, you know, with these coaches, and you got to be careful. Like you said, even his coach had sent him a doomsday message, right? That could have had him spiraling into that hole. But what Eve chose, and I'm not sure if you're hearing it, but what Eve chose in that moment is that he was actually going to throw him a rope. He wasn't going to go into the hole with
No,
him. He's
no.
going to throw him a rope. And perhaps you know, the doom and gloom is what the coach and the guru is feeling at this time, because nobody is perfect. You know, never put that person on a pedestal, because that person will always fall,
Yeah,
right? So,
there's no pedestal and there's no looking down either, right? Like
and
we're
there's no looking
all
down
no,
either.
like we're
Yeah.
down deep. Like we're all gonna end up in the same ground, in the same, I guess the same thing.
Robin Sharma would say, you're going to be married, you're going to be buried next to the taxi driver and the
Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
like, yeah, the street cleaner. That's the way it's going to be, right? We're all going, yeah, like you can't hold yourself in too high regard, because then of course that's a high expectation to have of yourself all the time. You will fall as well. So don't put others on pedestals, and don't put yourself on that pedestal.
Yeah,
Stay in,
that's
yeah,
hard too,
stay in the
right?
moment. It
Like,
is so hard. You know, even I've been
yeah.
working on this Eve since 2013,
Oh
me
my
since
God.
2014. Yeah, well, all our lives. But when we really doubled down in making sure that we could grow and we could release our stories, our past does not define our future, and really getting into you know, a place where we can be blissful, a place that we can feel joy. And every year we do say to each other, oh, I feel a little bit closer. There's always something that's going to knock us. There's always something that's going to
Always.
challenge us. And that is life.
Yeah.
Growth is in the uncomfortable, right? So Eve, you've often heard Eve be so vulnerable that, I mean, I've had people call me to say, oh, maybe you should say he shouldn't be that vulnerable. Well,
Not
what
man like.
what
Is it not? Is that manly?
well, you know, perhaps, but what men I
Well,
think what happens to men is vulnerability, but a lot of women as well. You hear Brene Brown talk about her
vulnerability. Mhm.
you know, vulnerability. It was almost took her out when she realized that vulnerability is the key to releasing shame. And shame is those past stories that, you know, that we carry around with us. My sexual abuse when I was a little
Yeah.
girl, I thought that everybody could see it. For some reason, thought they could see it on my face. So I always felt a little less than. I felt a
Wow.
dirty girl, you know. Those type of things are released from me now, only because I was able to get to a place that my past does not define my future. That's a lot of work. And bottom line, it still happens, right? Eve and I talk often how we feel that we're in such a good place. And there's a trigger. There's a trigger that happens. But lately, we've been saying how quickly we're able to remove
Remove the
the
trigger.
thought pattern,
Yeah,
right?
that's a practice. And
It is a huge years.
I know you've been working on this all your life because your trauma happened, your reset happened when you were young, but mine only happened in 2011. So, and I would say 2013 is probably when I started to say, okay, I'm going to start. I don't want the same life that I had. I don't want I don't want to be like hooked on the outcomes. Like, I don't want to be the person that has all this stuff, but is not happy. Right. And that's was my journny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and it's okay to be mentally tired or fatigued. Yeah. After a holiday, like you're getting back from a holiday, all these people are in your lives. Like
Oh my gosh,
right.
I have all my family home. So the big thing for Nicola is family. She's huge into family. Daddy and I are not. Leonard and I do not. We're not. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love my family. And now my two sisters have moved from Ontario and have
Yeah.
come home and surround me. So yes, I was
So
surrounded
you
by
have two or three sisters?
I have two sisters.
Two
Yeah,
sisters. Okay.
much older than I. But
I'm I'm sure they're not listening.
Well, they could be because I was at one of the sisters and I ran out of there 25 after 9. It's like, I have Mindset Monday. I gotta go. Next thing I see my husband in the car. You know, these people that rescue you. So Yves would have done amazing on his own. Of course, I don't need to.
On what?
You know,
Monday. No, I love you. Like, it's, first of all, it's more enjoyable when you're here. And you bring so much energy and love and wisdom. And like, I learn something every time we talk. So I'm always looking forward to it. And if it's only for me, it's perfect.
Oh, thank you, Yves. That means so much.
Yeah.
Like having you and Diane here, and Diane, my
And
Diane,
Diane,
Diane and Diane,
my
Yves'
wife.
sister as well. Yeah. So you know, my family truly has been Doviconians for the last 20 years, and having you guys there as well to celebrate Nicola's special day was
It was amazing.
it was perfect. Yeah, it just brought me so much joy. So what time are we?
It's
10:01.
10 o'clock. Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock.
So last word, mental fatigue.
Yeah.
How it's okay.
Yeah.
Recognize it. Yeah. And then what do you do about it?
Rest. Rest. You know,
is it complicated? No, just rest. Stop
making it. Stop. Yeah, it's
take
easy.
A tea, take a coffee, sit in your red chair, watch the birds, whatever, like go dig clams, whatever you do, like stop doing. It's like get away, go for a walk, sit. Yeah, just sit on that rock for a bit. Or sit on whatever, or sit on something for a bit. Yeah,
just quiet your mind. Don't make it any more complicated than for some reason we have all kinds of guilt that comes into play when we think that our bodies need rest. As a matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, I would guarantee you don't even recognize when your body needs rest. Yes. You just come out being hangry. So angry. So yeah, it's take a moment. You don't need to bring your muck into other people, and that's exactly what you're doing. So take the rest. Your family, your friends, your surroundings will appreciate it. Make sure you deserve it. Yeah, make sure your energy is on point when you're going around anybody else. Always bring your light. Always bring your love when you're surrounded by others. And when you need that rest, you take that rest. Perfect. I'm Shelley Butler.
I'm Yves Doucet.
And this is Mindset Monday. Can't wait to see you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye. Get your workout in.